Hi students, previous day I discussed about the fundamental rights and its significance. Today I will discuss about the classification of fundamental rights. See here there are six fundamental rights: right to equality, right to freedom of religion, right against exploitation, right to freedom, right to constitutional remedies, cultural and educational rights. Now we will discuss these rights one by one. Right to equality. The concept of equality is the guiding principle of our social living. Our constitution has granted to all its citizens equality before law as well as equality in protection by law without distinction of caste, creed, color, sex, religion or economic status. For this, there are two exceptions to this rights, and that is in these two cases we can do this rights for some particular classes. That is, the state can make reservation for women. The state may make special provisions for social and economically backward classes, for the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes. Now, what are the implementation of the right to equality? This practice of untouchability goes against the ideals of equality. Prevention a person from entering a public place or worship. The right to equality also abolishes the use of titles like Maharaja, Raja, Sahib, Khan, Bahadur, etc. Now, these are the implementation, means that on this rights we have seen that the untouchability was, which was one of the very important thing previous days. People are told untouchables and do not enter in the public places. But here they are having these rights. The constitution has given these rights to enter any public places. They are having the rights equally with other persons, and no rich and poor is judged. Next, right to freedom. See here, there are six right to freedoms: freedom of speech and expression, freedom to assemble peacefully without arms, freedom to form association and union, freedom to move freely without throughout India, freedom to reside and settle in any part of India, and freedom to practice any trade, profession or business. That is, we are having these freedoms in our country, and we can do accordingly these rights. Next come, that is here, right against exploitation. Under this right, we find provisions for the prohibition of bonded labor, slavery, human trafficking and practicing of engaging children below 14 years in factories, mines or other hazardous occupation. To uphold this right and protect the children from exploitation, a law was passed in October 2006 which prohibits the employment of children less than 14 years of age in roadside cafes, hotels as domestic helpers. That also we have seen many small children below 14 years, they are working in the factories and in the hotels, whereas in that time they have to go to school for their education, whereas they are doing these jobs. According to this act, these things are prohibited. Next come right to freedom of religion. According to this right, people are having their rights to worship their God according to their own way. They are free to practice their own religion in the ways they deem fit. People can freely profess, practice and propagate their religion. Every religion is free to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purposes. No state-funded institution is allowed to engage in imparting religious education. Next come cultural and fundamental rights. People in our country not only follow different religions but also speak various languages and follow different scripts. Some of the groups are large in number while others exist in minorities. The Constitution has granted the minorities communities certain rights to protect and nurture their distinct language, script and culture. They have the freedom to set up their own educational institution for this purpose. Next come right to constitutional remedies. We know that our constitutions give us certain rights, but what can a citizen do if restrictions are imposed on these rights without any specific reason? Suppose a person want to settle in another part of India, but the government imposes restriction on such movement without offering any explanation, then what can be done? The Constitution provides that person has the right to move the court. The court may check up such petitions and issue special order to the government. Next come fundamental duties. Fundamental rights and fundamental duties help men, women and children to develop and use their talents and qualities to satisfy their needs. In this process of development, there are certain duties that one must follow. These are known as fundamental duties. The Constitution of India incorporated the fundamental duties in 1976 by the 42nd Amendment. Fundamental duties enriched the Constitution in these: abiding by Constitution and respecting ideal institution, the national flag, national anthem, cherishing and following the noble ideals, upholding and protecting the sovereignty, unity and integrity, defending the country and rendering national service, promoting harmony and spirit of common brotherhood, valuing and preserving the rich heritage of our composite culture, protecting and improving the natural environment including forests, lakes, etc., developing scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform, space guarding public property and adjuring violence. Now, importance of fundamental duties. The fundamental duties infusing a feeling of patriotism and brotherhood in all individuals to dedicate themselves to the cause of nation. Rights and duties go hand in hand. Rights enable us to stand dignified in the society, whereas duties facilitate a smooth social interaction and develop a sense of responsibility. Rights without any obligation would be meaningless. Together, the right and duties help us to live harmoniously and contribute towards national progress. Thank you.